Welcome everybody to Motorcycle Time. I'm your host Joe, and today we're out on the glorious Yamaha FZ1, and I want to talk to you about hooligan bikes. Big, fast, powerful bikes, and how friggin' awesome they are, and how much you're going to want one. So let's ride this big, fast, powerful bike and talk about that. Give you a quick walk around here of the old beast. The old beast. Alright, she's a scarred up old beast. Still fun though. Oh man, have I mentioned that I love this motorcycle? I don't know if I have, but I really like this bike. It's definitely a hooligan bike, and it definitely encourages hooligan behavior, which is what we're going to talk about today. So I want to talk about hooligan bikes. Now I know that you can ride like a hooligan on a little bike, right? You can ride like a hooligan on a Grom, but that's kind of not the focus of today. Today I wanted to talk about the big boys, right? There's a bunch of bikes that qualify for this. You could even qualify your bigger leader bikes, you know, sport bikes for this, because you can absolutely do hooligan squid stuff on those, right? And so I think one of the main allures to them is just how damn fast they are. They're so fast, and they're flashy, and they're usually loud, and you get a lot of attention. And the bikes tend to be like pretty colorful. They're not always colorful or brightly colored, but they usually are. Sometimes they're all blacked out, but they can often be brightly colored or have a really interesting, cool looking colorway. And on top of that, they usually, you know, not all of them, but they often have fairings and stuff and cool graphics. And a lot of the bigger bikes like that, they'll have a lot of bells and whistles, you know, latest features type of stuff on those bigger bikes. And that, of course, can be a lot of fun, because you can get cool things like traction control and all the other fun, you know, modernization stuff that comes on modern motorcycles. Then you could have an older analog bike like this one that has, you know, 150 horsepower at your wrist and no controls. It's completely analog, and you have to, no rider aids, I mean. You have to use the controls without, you know, eating it. So some people like that, and I don't blame them. I like that. I'm a fan. So usually it's the speed, the power, the looks. Sometimes it's the looks. And I think it's very alluring for a lot of riders to want to be able to go real fast, real quick, turn real hard, get on the side of the tire hard, accelerate hard, those kinds of things. I think that's like a lot of riders that really want that experience, and I don't blame them, because those things are a lot of fun. Oh man, look at that, a dump truck. Oh shit, son. We're gonna hang out for a minute. Oh, a second dump truck. You gotta be shitting me, bro. I might have to pull off again at some point. Okay, so let's see, we talked about fast, powerful bikes and how much fun that is, right? Because I think there's an element to bigger, faster hooligan bikes, leader bikes, the like. There's a status about them, right? To have a leader bike, to have a big thou naked, there's kind of a status symbol there, right? That's a big boy bike, right? That's not a little boy bike anymore, right? And you're not on a baby bike anymore. You're on a man's bike now. This is a man's bike, son. And that's nice. There's a nice feeling about that. There's a very much, I graduated, I grew up, I'm more than I used to be kind of thing. There's a feeling about that. Now, maybe you shouldn't have that feeling, and that's a silly feeling to have, I don't know, but you definitely might have it. I think you get a little more respect out on the street. Whether or not you deserve it is a different matter, because whether or not you can actually ride that big powerful bike is, you know, we don't know that. But what we do know is that you have one. And so a lot of people kind of default give you some, I don't know, they give you a little bit of respect just because you have the big boy bike. Even if they're only just a little jealous of like, ooh, he's got the big boy. Okay, and then the other part, I think, it's really hard not to feel cool riding one of those. You know, like the big, fast, powerful bikes, it's really hard not to feel cool riding that. Like, they're so fast and they're so powerful. And the acceleration and just the torque and everything is just so cool. And, you know, when you get a loaded bike that's got a lot of stuff on it, it's really cool to have that. We're going to go ahead and go buy this guy. Big, fast, powerful bikes go fast. The speed, the power, those are very alluring, right? A lot of people want to participate in leader bikes and big, fast hooligan bikes so that they can taste that speed and that power. And I don't blame them. It's a lot of fun. A lot of cool, fun experiences to be had here. And then I think there's maybe a third element to why you really friggin' want one of these things, right? And I think that third element is FOMO. And if you're not familiar with the term FOMO, F-O-M-O, it's a shorthand for fear of missing out. And I think a lot of people, I think most people, a lot of people are motivated by the fear of missing out, right? The fear of missing out on experiences, fear of missing out on maybe owning certain material items. You're afraid you're not going to get to taste it, right? Maybe you just got into motorcycling, or you're getting back into it, and maybe you can't afford a leader bike right now, or you're afraid of one. It's just too much. And I can understand all of that. It's just too much. It's too fast. It's too scary. And on top of that, you got to pay to have this big, powerful bike, which it's a lot of fun, but you're definitely paying to own it, right? You pay some decent dollars to have a big, fast bike. And even if you buy one like mine, which is a used model that's, 20 years old, even then, it still eats a lot of gas, smokes that back tire, etc., etc. So you still have a little bit more cost in them than you would if you were riding a middleweight or a baby bike. All right. God, that traffic was brutal. Okay, let's finish up on the fear of missing out. Okay, so maybe you can't afford a big bike, or you can only afford one bike and your big bike has to be it. So, maybe you have to limit your ride time a little bit because you want your big boy bike, but you can't, ride it as much as you would prefer, perhaps. It just costs you a little bit more than you want to, etc. If you can't afford to have all the bike you want, you can only afford one bike, or you can't even afford a big boy bike, right? That can cause you to have fear feelings of like, oh my God, am I ever going to get to do this? Am I ever going to get to taste it? Am I ever going to get to know? And I can understand that completely. I've had it now multiple times. And you're talking to a guy that has had 5 motorcycles already. 5. I've had 5. Okay, and I already have friggin' FOMO multiple times. Right? Because I'm worried that, oh, I won't be able to get this bike. Oh, I won't be able to experience that bike. Oh, I won't be able to do this thing. And I've only been motorcycling like 3 years, and I'm, you got the damn FOMO, and it's getting you. So I can understand when you're thinking about your motorcycling arc, especially if you're kind of new to it and you don't have a ton of experience, it could be very easy to start having fear, anxiety that you're not going to be able to get to do certain things and on your motorcycle or experience different motorcycles, and I can understand all that. And then I think further you would want to because maybe there's motorcycling experiences that you're going to want to have that it might be cost prohibitive, time prohibitive, location prohibitive, who knows. That's all very real and possible, right? And I know with big, fast hooligan bikes, it's just one of the things I think that a lot of people who motorcycle, oh yeah, oh buddy, a lot of people who ride motorcycles, they want to taste. They want to know what it's like. Maybe it's inappropriate, maybe it's stupid, maybe it's too fast, maybe, okay, all of that. Sure, they still want to know. And for some, once they taste it, they'll have to have it forever. Right? There's no going back, right? Once you've tasted leader bike power, big, hyper naked power, once you've tasted that, there might not be going back, right? Once you've been on a big boy cruiser that's got big torque, 100 foot-pounds or something, you might not be able to go back. The FOMO, the fear of missing out on such a delightful, delicious experience, okay, and then to add to the FOMO, once you go leader bike or once you go big boy bike, you can't go back, right? Those are very real concerns, right, that you might have with bikes like these. Okay, now we're gonna hit town here in just a second, and when I get out the other side of town, we're gonna talk about some downsides. But I'm just gonna enjoy these twisties, and hopefully you guys will too. Oh, dude, you guys, seriously, get a naked bike, guys. Get a naked bike. Get a hooligan bike. Buy an FZ1. Buy an FZ6. Buy an MT bike. Get yourself a Ninja. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Get one of these. They're so much fun. They're so much fun. So let's talk about 2 reasons why super big, fast, powerful hooligan bikes, squid bikes, are maybe a bad idea. And I think the first and most obvious one, and I kind of already mentioned it earlier, is cost. The first and obvious one is cost, right? The bike itself is going to cost more. Bigger, faster bikes cost more right up front. And then over the life of the bike, it's going to cost more. It costs more to operate these bikes. They eat more tires, they beat up their chain and sprockets faster, they beat up their brakes faster, they drink more gas. If you take them to the racetrack, you can expect to double all of that. I don't know, it'll be more. I don't know if you double it, but it'll be more. If you go to the racetrack on the regular, it'll be more than what it is if you don't. The next one that's real obvious, and maybe there is a third, we'll explore that. The second one is risk, right? All motorcycling is risky. No matter what size bike you ride, you can do risky things on a Grum. So the power of the bike doesn't necessarily remove you from risk, but the more power you add, the more risk you add. And that's got to be stated. When it comes to big, fast hooligan bikes and the temptation to do squid stuff on them, man, the more you got, the more tempting it is, right? The more bike you're sitting on, the more tempting it is to do crazy stuff. And some bikes, like this one, and I think there's probably a long list of bikes that do this, they kind of encourage it, right? You're riding this bike and boy, this thing's tempting you. It's whispering in your ear. You know you want to go faster. You know you want to rip it real hard right here. Just pop a wheelie real quick. No one will care. Da-da-da. All kinds of stuff like that. Oh, just pass this car. You got room. Don't worry about it. The bike's quick. Oh, just take this corner hard. It's, don't worry about it. The bike can handle it. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, buddy. Oh, yeah. Right? The chicanes. Oh, yeah. Here we go. We're not even accelerating really hard. Maybe 50% throttle. This thing's real fast. I'm not even going to shift up again. I'm just going to let it ride. You have way more power on tap, man. So let's talk about my conclusion to all of that rambling. My conclusion is that you're going to friggin' want one of these things, right? These things are so awesome. But you really need to try to squid responsibly if you can. So I guess that maybe is a little bit of a PSA in here. Whatever bike you're riding, squid responsibly. And here's why. Squidding is fun. It's a lot of fun until you get hurt or you wreck your bike. And then it stops being fun real fast. And so if you outride your skill, you outride the conditions, you aren't paying attention, you're just too much hooliganism. Well, that has a risk of bringing your fun to an end. And that'd be a real shame. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it for me. I don't want to see it for you. There's going to be times when you have an impulse like, ooh, I want to do a thing. And man, it might be the best thing you ever did in your whole life to just wait and be patient for just a little bit before you do the thing, right? Maybe you want to pop a wheelie. Maybe you want to pass a car. Have a look around first. Make sure it's a good time for that. Don't get yourself into trouble just because you wanted to have a little throttle twist, you know, a little experience. Chill for just a second. Look around. Pay attention first. Then do your squidding, all right? I'm not telling you not to squid. I'd waste my breath with that. You know it and I know it. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this fun little zip on this incredible hooligan bike. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Get you one of these, you guys. Get you one of these. Oh, yeah. All right. This has been Joe. This is Motorcycle Time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.